and
Yeah.
not a band that either of us have heard of. So it's really cool to check it out, and
Yeah, for
really
sure.
enjoyable performance, I would say. So Kako Breadveld 7149, thank you very much. Please change your name to something like Dave next time. It's much easier to say. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Audiophiles. Hello, John. My name's John. His name's Andy,
It
and
is.
today is Friday. Yes, it is, which means we do a viewer request. But first, do patum kakum ba ba ta da da. Oh yeah. I'm up on the 11th floor and I'm watching the cruisers below. He's down on the street and he's trying hard to pull Sister Flo. Oh, my heart's in the basement and my weekend's at an all-time low. More on that later. Right, let's get back to the music. So we have got a special little number for you, chosen by one of our wonderful viewers. And as he scrolls upwards in his notes, um, so we have obviously we had the list, the famous list that keeps on giving, and we've gone down there through and picked out this one, which Andy's going to react to. Although interestingly, neither of us know this.
Mhm.
So the artist is the Rural Alberta Advantage.
Mm.
I don't know what that is,
I
but
don't,
it's
I don't know
considerable,
what
obviously. They formed a
the
band from
advantage
it.
of being from rural Alberta. I didn't know there was
Yeah.
one. So
What's that all about? But anyway, so this was um this was offered up by Kako Breadveld 7149. It's easy for you to
okay.
say. Um, and he has chosen the track Brother. Um, they put this on episodes of Monsters and Men, Walls Without Teeth. I remember it well. And they suggested, yeah, the track Brother. I managed to find one which is a live performance on of very good friends, KEXP.
Oh,
Should get a
nice.
t-shirt.
Yeah, no, at
So
this
we owe them something, surely.
point.
So yeah, Andy will go off and listen to the Rural Alberta Advantage, or RAA as they're known, and or the RAA, the RAA. Anyway, he will go off and listen to Brother, and we'll come back and then we'll chop it up and see what we think of it all.
Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to this. I am not familiar with them. Clearly not this song, but not even them in general. So, it's always kind of fun to fly blind on
Yeah.
this stuff. But it's also good knowing that they made the cut for KEXP because more often than not, I enjoy whoever they invite onto their set to do this stuff. So I'm optimistic that this will be some good stuff. So let me go check it out. Come back and let you all know what I think. It's beautiful.
Brother, my brother, we can hold it all together. Night on night, we're running off forever. No, we're living tight, far, far away. Many eyes on the darkness comes alive. You come to me and I come to you. Brother, my brother, you can hold it all
Who needs shoes?
Been running off forever. Nowhere, live and die far, far away. Many eyes on darkness comes alive. You come to me and I come to you. Never heard your final cry. Yeah, in the dark tonight, I'm coming back for you. Now finding out now where you sleep tonight, I guess it's how you do. Now heard your final cry. Yeah, in the dark tonight, I'm coming back for you. Now finding out now where you sleep tonight, I guess it's how you do.
Ah, the old mounted tambourine.
There's a dream I had where somebody watched out.
His keys are almost providing like a bass tone. I love that.
In the end, I lied. There was no one there for me and you. There's a dream I had where somebody watched out for me and you. In the end, I lied. There was no one there for me and you. There's a dream I had. There was no one there. Yeah, in the dark tonight, I'm coming back for you.
It's all over those pedals.
And in the end, there was no one there for me and you.
Wow. Yeah, that was superb. I loved that. It sounded really, really good. I loved this sort of juxtaposition of his like working man's vocals that, for all they lack in technicality, they are saturated in conviction, and that's great. That sells the song for me. There's so many other great singers that sing in that same fashion, but juxtaposed with her sort of airy, haunting kind of like lovely pitch and tone to her voice were great. I loved the work that she was doing on the keys. Felt like she was wearing a couple different hats where she was playing like some traditional key stuff, but also providing kind of like bass tones under it as well, where it desperately needed it. The drums were not like over the top or anything flashy, but they were great, splashy when they needed to be. Excellent work on the toms, especially in the beginning portions of the song. And there's little bits where things sort of kicked off and he kind of moved around a bit, had a great sound to them as well. Yeah, this is a great. I think I'm glad that this was a KEXP performance to give me better insight to what I was hearing. I don't know if I would have liked this song as much if I hadn't been able to kind of see this all before me, while also it being of great sound quality, because that's what KEXP does. But yeah, this is a really good tune. Let's get back to John.
Hans Moretti and his lovely wife Olga. He's back. So, the rural Alberta advantage. What did you make of it?
Well, first of all, the rural Alberta advantage. That's 4 words. There are more words in this band name than there are people, which I thought was kind of stunning. It was a 3-person group. Yes. And again, as we've noted before, just about every time we've watched a video by KEXP, another excellently produced and shot, performance by the band du jour, in this case, the Rural Alberta Advantage. And Yeah, I really liked this song. It was beautiful, clear, um, rough around some edges while there was smoothing out by other individuals in the band to kind of like bring everything home and kind of make everything even. Um, it starts off with the sound of this like really pretty acoustic guitar kind of swirling picking motif. This, we've heard it countless times now on this channel, that kind of, you know, picking on the guitar that you feel like you're in the gentle cycle tumble in your dryer. And then there's this so that's like, you know, literally and figuratively music to my ears in the first 15-20 seconds of the song. And then we get it, and also it also reminded me a lot of the Fruit Bats, this first bit that we've done, which is another band that we've covered on here. They had that same kind of galloping kind of, Americana sound to it. And then not quite 40 seconds into the song, we've been introduced to some beat keeping on the drums and some interesting, mostly on the tom, by the way. It was very tom driven early on. And some really interesting like key strikes here and there. But to this point in the recording, I have no idea where they're coming from because they don't really show you the keyboardist until a bit later on in the tune. I mean, as the song progresses, you pick up faint, haunting harmonies. And then you figure out that they are from the ankle sock clad female keyboardist that is over there doing her thing. I noticed that she is adverse to
Yes.
wearing shoes when she performs, which I thought was kind of made me chuckle a couple times throughout the scene.
Yeah, and I know as well. It was very important to check out her fingernail polish as well. Did that a couple of times.
Yeah.
It felt like they weren't really concentrating on what she was doing with her hands, but it was like just looking at her hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there you
Although her feet, while it provided comic relief to see her playing without her shoes, it was interesting to see all the different pedals that she was
Yes.
employing for different sounds and stuff like that, because she wasn't just wearing the hat of a keyboardist in this song. Like there were at times she was actually she was a lot of the bass work that you would catch, the low end bass work was actually coming from what she was doing using those pedals and those keys, which I
Yes.
thought was really cool too.
I've read about this, but I've never, even in the live shows, you don't really see it. That John Paul Jones used to do the same thing.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, didn't work out how he did it. But when you see the array of pedals, then yeah, okay, that makes sense now that's how.
Yeah.
But
And it's
going
really,
out shooting with your fingers and doing it with your feet at the same time, it's just like, it's the old
yeah.
whatever.
And you also, to know when you have that many pedals, to know that you're on the third one and not the fifth one or whatever it is, you know what I mean? To like, because you have to be concentrating on what you're doing up here, but meanwhile, you've got a pedal board below that's, looked like there was at least 5 or 6 pedals on that thing. It's pretty interesting to see her pull that off.
Mm.
So yeah, things pick up a little bit around the 105 marker, and the beat like kind of properly kicks off at this point. A lot of rolling and splashing on the cymbals. The drummer really did an excellent job for a song that didn't require him to go ape shit. You know what I mean? Like it was technically sound drumming by him. And I really, really enjoyed the role that he played in this song. And the singer's vocals, okay, they're not technically perfect in any way, shape, or form. Nobody would be like, oh yes, that's the spitting image of a perfect baritone or whatever. But for everything that he lacks in technicality or command of his range and tone and all that stuff, um, was kind of countered by the conviction and the roar of his delivery. And I really, really enjoyed that. It also like it was the perfect kind of voice for this kind of music as well. And it just it made it all that much more believable, like the amount of like conviction and heart that he put into his delivery. It was also interesting because it's that voice that I just described juxtaposed or bolstered by, or the having the edges taken off by this beautiful haunting airy ooh at times provided by the keyboardist who was doing so much, as we noted earlier. So yeah, I love the dynamic between their two voices and how what she lacked in this song, not in, I don't know her, oeuvre enough to be able to say she lacks this as a singer, but in this song, what she lacked, he had in spades, and what he lacked, she was able to polish and round off the edges and provide some softness to it. So they went together really well. They coupled greatly. And around the 2:32 marker, things hush down a bit, and we get some gentle tambourine work from the drummer, that mounted tambourine on the hi-hat stand. And the singer pulls back a little bit with his delivery and says something to the effect of, "And in the end, there was no more there for you," or something to that. I think it was something to that effect. And then we get one of these patented hoots that I've heard throughout the song a couple times, where he kind of pulls back and gives the old whoop, which I thought would just kind of made me chuckle. And then things pick back up a bit, and we get to see a bit more of the keyboardist working those pedals with her ankle socks. And that, forever made me chuckle every time I saw a shot of that. And she also offers more of those haunting vocals behind his fervent roar and strumming there toward the end. And the song wraps up, and it was simple. It wasn't a very long song. But it had all of this. I don't know. It reminded me of, like, I feel like I often use him as an example, and I'm not even a big fan of his, but he's definitely there. His fingerprints seem to be on this, but there's a little bit of Springsteeny-ness going on with this. And I don't know if I just go to him because, like, I think he's Americana, but there is some of that to this. I think I just enjoyed this a lot more than I've enjoyed some of his work. But yeah, this is a great choice, and I really, really enjoyed it, and it was fun to watch. I think I said this in the reaction. I don't know if I would have liked the song as much as I did. I'm sure I would have liked it. I don't know if I would have liked it or enjoyed it as much if it was just the recording of the track and not this sort of like looking through the window to see how they do all of this and how it all kind of unfolded and who's doing what and everything. It gave me another, like, a level of appreciation for the song I don't think would have been there if it was just like the studio version from the album without any visuals. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed this one a lot, man.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why I of this sort of ones that are available to me, I picked this one because I know you're such a KEXP tart, and that would please you. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
for myself, two Pennyworth. It's not my particular go-to music, but I really enjoyed this. And
Yeah.
I think everything that you said, I agree with. I do like it was a very simple-ish song and very circular, almost repetitive in certain bits, which we'll go through the lyrics. But they did play around with the dynamics, and the lead singer has, as you said, perhaps not the sort of most refined voice, but he has character. And that and his delivery gave bundles of charisma to it, which I think sort of draws you in.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really interesting. So there's not a huge amount on the internet about this band, which is quite they seem reasonably successful. They definitely got a core sort of fan base. So yeah, they are, as we've probably the name would suggest, they're Canadian.
Oh, no shit.
Indie rock stroke folk rock band, formed in Toronto, Ontario in 2005. So the players are Nils Edenloff, lead vocals and guitar, Amy Cole, keyboards, bass, and backing vocals, Paul Bandwat, drums. So they have produced 5 albums. Hometowns 2008, Departing 2011, Mended with Gold 2014. This comes from The Wild 2017. Now, in 2016, Amy Cole, shock horror, said, "I'm leaving the band." And she was replaced by Robin Hatch, who was with the band from September 2016 to January 2018. This recording, I believe, was 2017. So that was her, Robin Hatch, you saw, rather than Amy.
Okay.
And she did exactly the same thing: keyboards, bass, and backing vocals. So yeah, The Wild is the 4th studio album by the Canadian band. It was released October 13th, 2017. It got a Metacritic score of 82 out of 100. And on the Metacritic website, Brother is cited as the top track.
Really?
So a few little snippets from it. It's interesting because pretty much most of the other reviews don't mention the track Brother at all. But everyone else seemed pleased with it. So yeah, it's some interesting little bits because I believe the first two albums really hit hard and got their sort of core fan base. And so subsequent releases are always sort of related to that. KEXP magazine gave it 8.7 out of 10. The Wild maintains a real sense of spontaneity, a sound in keeping with their manic folk impulses and the heady adrenaline rush that frequently drives their songs to euphoric heights. Eden Loft's frantic strum and Hatch and Bandwidth's ability to indulge and engage at a persistent pace adds to the overall sense of urgency and abandon. Yet ultimately, it's only acoustic guitar and those racing rhythms that drive these tunes, giving the music an emphatic urgency that straddles the divide between desperation and despair. Consider this both edgy and essential. Uncut magazine. This is a focused trio who are a superb drummer and feature lovely and showy harmonies, able to balance the melancholy of Niels Enderloff's lyrics with a euphoric, confident delivery that sounds like a brilliant form of catharsis. And Exclaim website, the octopus-armed Bandwidth continues to prove he is one of the finest and most underrated rock drummers by reliably propelling the group's rootsy tendencies into rowdy barnyard stomps. That's probably a good description of this dude.
Yeah,
the band's latest record. Yeah, the band's latest record is about finding hope and dealing with change during a tough time in a nameless place. The rural Alberta Advantage are getting older, but haven't lost their home recording feel. Although their latest effort is more bluntly honest and the lyrics are grimmer, there is a veiled optimism that sounds exactly like a cold, dark prairie winter. So, pretty good reviews. So it gives you a sort of idea what people think of it. So the lyrics, brother, my brother, can hold it all together. Night or night, we be running out forever. No, we'll live and die far, far away from any eyes. Oh, now the darkness comes alive. It comes for you, comes for me, and I come for you. Brother, my brother, you can hold it all together. Night, all night, I'll be running out forever. No, we'll live and die far, far away from any eyes. Oh, the darkness comes alive. It comes for me, and I come for you. You. And I heard your final cry through the dark tonight. I'm coming back to you, and I'll find you all right. Where you sleep tonight, I guess it's all you do. Brother, my brother, we can hold it all together. Night all night, we're running out forever. No, we'll live and die, far, far away from any eyes. Oh, the darkness comes alive. It comes for me, and I come for you, you. I heard your final cry through the dark tonight. I'm coming back for you. I'll find you all right. Where you sleep tonight, I guess that's all you do. And I heard your final cry through the dark tonight. I'm coming back for you. And I heard your final cry tonight. Where you sleep tonight, I guess it's all you do. And that's when it drops down. And then he goes into, there's a dream I had where someone watched out for me and you. And in the end of life, there was no one there for me and you. There's a dream I had where someone watched out for me and you. And in the end of life, there was no one there for me and you. There's a dream I had, there was no one there. In the dark tonight, I'm coming back for you. Maybe in our lives, there was no one there for me and you. And there's very little actually written about what this song's about, but there's a comment on one of the websites that says it's about two brothers in the foster system. I don't know why they chose that. It could care system, I guess, but they're being tormented. Nobody cares about, and they have no one but themselves. And that kind of makes sense from the lyrics.
Yeah, I was definitely getting this, like, I mean, it's obvious that it's about either a friend that is like a brother to you or a brother figure, like a sibling. But it was like either something like a scenario that you just described or something about mortality and one of them being at the end of their road. But yeah, I mean, they're sad lyrics. I mean, I got like I didn't get emotional, but there's emotionally evocative. You know, they make you think and feel things. They're interesting words. And an interesting, I always love when, because it really shows a talent from a lyrical standpoint and a songwriting standpoint to write about something that is not a lived experience of yours, but to do it in such a tasteful way that's understandable, that translates to the listener, the reader. And on top of that, that's not even your number one vocation or your number one talent. You're not a storyteller before a musician. Usually you're a musician first, and then you have to tell a story over top of it. But here is an example where the songwriting musically is just as sound as the storytelling that he's paired with it. And it's an excellent, interesting story.
Yeah, and I guess it's that kind of genre which does lend itself to storytelling, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, you're
yeah,
absolutely right. We just had that with Midlake. You know what I mean? When he's telling the story of the depressed younger wife and all that stuff. And that was, I don't know if the lead singer lived that, but it's an interesting tale to tell, and probably one you can sum up in short story form via a song, right? So you're right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Just to give you, because there's so little out there. Forgive me, I did try. But there is a nice little bit from their own website regarding their last album, which came out last year, called The Rise and the Fall. And it's just a bit from them, which I think is really interesting. Endeloff explains, there is so much I love about being in a band, but one of its most fundamental aspects, this is just interesting from what you said, causing me more mental anguish than anything else, and that's actually writing songs. When I'm able to tune out the doubting voice in my head and get it done, there's no greater feeling. But often the devil wins and it's easier to just run away. He
Yeah.
continues. When the world was first getting swept up in Chat GPT, we were deep in the songwriting process. Paul, the drummer, found it hilarious to ask the bot to create lyrics in the style of the rural Alberta Advantage. I guess being reminded that you're easily replaceable got me thinking about why I can run from something I know I can, and often does, brings me so much joy. I can say with total honesty that none of the lyrics Paul coaxed from the AI made it onto the record, nor did any particularly move me. So for now, good old-fashioned sweat, pen to paper inspiration still won the day for us.
I love that anecdote. One, because it's hilarious to think about how AI can leak into, you know, it can be a
Yeah.
serious issue, but from a musician standpoint, how it can leak into the songwriting process. But also, that's the most drummer fucking thing I've ever heard, you know, because they're very rarely the ones writing the words, you know what I mean? So they're always the jack offs that like to play jokes and be tricksters or be like the loud one. And I've played with enough of them to know that that's exactly what they would do, and it's just it just makes me laugh. Oh, good shit.
And this last little bit here is quite interesting. And I would suggest you go off and search for the image of the cover of their latest album. It's really interesting. So the division between what is assumed to be real and tangible and what is not is further explored by Alberta photographer Leroy Schultz's work that continues to provide the visuals for this new music from the rural Alberta Advantage. Schultz flies drones over Alberta landscapes and takes photographs from above, looking down on rows of fir trees, barns, crops, and roadways. From this perspective, the settings look unrecognizable, even unreal, like some alien planets. In fact, the album cover art is a photograph that was picked out by the band when they first started writing as a visual focal point for the record. The shapes, shadows, lines, and textures may seem foreign now, but from some of these new angles we've been shown in recent years, they're all scenes of homes. So I checked it out, and it's like it's quite a ghostly, almost like a husk-like image of a rural barn or building, and it's very grey, weathered. There's a few of the sort of slates are kind of missing, and there's a lot of lichen over it, and there's hints of decay and nature trying to come back into it. But it almost looks like the shell of a dead animal or something as well. It's very interesting, and it's
Yeah.
lovely, simple but complex at the same time. It's a great image, so I'd recommend that.
Also,
Just have a
imagery
look at it.
that pairs well with this kind of music too, right? This
Yeah.
sort of natural settings and things like that. I think we've said before, we've described so many natural and pastoral settings when listening to this kind of stuff. So that image, I think, pairs perfectly with it. That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're very obviously keyed into the locale, Alberta.
Yeah.
And I know there was parts of his hometown or whatever devastated by wildfire a few years back, which he wrote about as well. So yeah, really interesting band. Though I mean, this was a really, again, an interesting suggestion, and not a band that I've also heard of. So it's really cool to check it out, and
Yeah, for
really
sure.
performance, I would say. So Kako Breadvelt 7149, thank you very much. Please change your name to something like Dave next time. It's much easier to say. But no, keep the suggestions coming. So I'll wrap things up and say thank you, Paco Breadveld 7149. And thanks, Andy, for listening to this. We both enjoyed this track hugely. Folks out there, tell us what you think of this track, this band. If you know the album or other works that we should check out, please drop some suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. All your comments are gratefully received. If you have suggestions as well on this episode or any other, just drop a line and we will add it to the list and get round to it sometime. So we do anyone who does do that. Don't have your say. You never know, it could be you, as the people who sell the new lottery tickets would say. And for those who haven't subscribed already, please do help support this channel. We really appreciate everyone that does, building us up and away in my beautiful balloon. That being said, thanks again so much for watching, and we'll see all of you in the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.